and welcome to the Quincy Access Television studios. I'm Mark Crosby. Thank you for joining us for In the Know, a program that helps you stay informed. Today we will be talking about Wreaths Across America, and that event is happening soon. And to talk about that, we have Christine Cugini, who is the coordinator for Wreaths Across America. She is the coordinator for the City of Quincy. Christine, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Another year. This is the fourth year that Quincy has been a part of this event.
Yes, fourth year. We're hoping to have another successful year in reaching our goal to place a wreath on all of our veterans' graves here in Quincy.
Talk about, for folks that don't know, talk about the organization Wreaths Across America, because it is just that, it's across America.
It is. I think when we started, there was probably about 1,500 cemeteries that were participating. And right now, 4 years later, I believe it's up to about 2,700 across the United States. So the word is getting out, the mission is getting out there, and Quincy has accepted it, and it's such a beautiful day and mission to be able to say thank you to our veterans who have passed.
And we will show a clip from maybe a couple of years ago, and I kind of joked, and there's a young kid that is taking part, and I said he's probably in college now.
Could be,
because it's an older video. But every year, it's done the same way. And you mentioned, so that's why we show it. But you mentioned the mission. The mission of Wreaths Across America is to remember, honor, and teach.
Remember, honor, and teach. Remember the service members who have passed, honor those who have served, and teach the children the importance of freedom.
And we should mention that Quincy does a great job honoring veterans.
They really do, and that's year-round. This is just one of many days in which veterans are honored here in the city of Quincy.
Mayor Thomas Koch, of course, very much on board for veterans events. Recently, the General's Bridge dedication.
Absolutely, and what a beautiful day that was. I go by there now and just, it's a time, it's a place that you can just think and relax. It's a beautiful park.
And this, the ceremony, the actual event, is a beautiful day. The weather sometimes can be questionable, although some folks, and I'm referencing last year, because last year not only did we have the pandemic, we had snow.
Yes.
And snow can be pretty, but it makes it difficult to get the wreaths onto the grave sites. But it was done.
It was done. There was a delay. We had, I think it was 14 inches of snow that fell just days before the National Wreaths Across America Day. So prior to the snow falling, we tried to mark as many graves as we could so that we could place the wreaths. There's also the flag marker that we were hoping would stand up enough and the snow wouldn't cover. But we did our best. There was a delay, and it took us more than the one day, but every veteran, a wreath was placed for our veterans here in Quincy.
Very nice. Let's look at the actual day of the ceremony, December 18th.
Yes, December 18th. The ceremony will begin at noontime at Mount Wollaston. That is the location that we've kind of stuck with the past 3 years, and we haven't discussed ever moving it. And I think convenience, parking, space, it makes sense to have it at Mount Wollaston.
And we will get 2 donations, because that, of course, is what allows the wreaths to be placed in not only Mount Wollaston, but other cemeteries as well.
Yes, we actually have 7 cemeteries that we look to place the wreaths at, totaling 7,300 graves and wreaths to be sponsored. Right now we're at about 35%, and that's including some promised donations. So we're hoping we can hit our 100% and ensure that all veterans will have a wreath this year.
Well, you came in and are doing this program, so let's utilize this program for that specifically to encourage folks to really participate in this program. And to do that, we are recording this on November 17th, so there is time to honor a veteran by placing a wreath, by ordering a wreath. And we'll get to that in a second as well, because folks can purchase a wreath and it can be laid by someone else.
Yes.
For the sponsor, correct?
Yes. So we have you can just sponsor the wreaths, or you could do a grave-specific wreath, and that you would include the information of the deceased. So what location they're at and their name. We could find the rest where they're buried at the cemeteries, but grave-specific is used when you are going to place the wreath. And then the general sponsorship, you can be there and then, place the wreath, but it doesn't necessarily have to be on the one person or however.
Right. So let's talk about sponsoring a wreath, the cost and the ways in which to sign up.
Sure. So we have a fundraising group that decreases the cost. So if you go through the fundraising group, the wreath is actually $10. If you go online, you don't see that discount. So if you ordered 2 wreaths, our group actually gets 3. So the cost ends up to be $10 a wreath and not $15 a wreath. So some people get confused when they're ordering, they want to do it by the $10. So they order 3, but it's really, it's a backdoor sort of discount, and it's a 2 for 3. So you're ordering 2 wreaths, but you're really getting 3. And that's only through the fundraising group. So at this time where we're so low in our goal, I'm asking that you don't go to the website. It's a little more difficult, a few more steps. So we have a P.O. box. We have, you can certainly mail the check in with a sponsorship form, and I can get those to you. But in order for us to reach our goal, we really need to concentrate on the fundraising group way of sponsoring.
Right now at the bottom of the screen is the P.O. box for folks, Quincy WAA for Wreaths Across America, P.O. Box 690432, Quincy, Mass. 02269. Also, there was, I believe the previous graphic had a Gmail address.
Gmail, I can certainly add the sponsorship form, and that way all the information on there is correct. It'll go through the fundraising group, and we will get the 2 for 3. The order 2, you get 3, and it goes up. You order 5, we really get 7. So as the more you order, the more additional wreaths are added into our group.
And when you mentioned the site, the national site, that's wreathsacrossamerica.org.
Yes.
But you're encouraging folks to go this route.
Just to ensure that we're really capturing all the sponsorships, because if 2 people donate $15 for 1 wreath, if we send it in, we'll actually get that second, the 3rd wreath, even though it's 2 separate orders. So it's where we're at, just the 35, and we only have 14 days to go. We're in a crunch, so I'd rather, really get every possible wreath we can.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And if my director could bring up that Gmail address again, just so we could give that out, or you could give that out along with the phone number.
That is. So it's quincy.waa@gmail.com. And the phone number, if you have any questions at all, day or night, 617-777-9366.
And just a moment ago, you spoke about the deadline. We are recording this program on November 17th, but there is a cutoff date.
There is a cutoff date, and that cutoff date is used to order the number of wreaths that we're able to get. So December 1st is the cutoff, and I will look at our numbers, see what donations have come in, what we're going to get, and then that's how we order the number of wreaths that will be delivered to Quincy.
In just a moment, we will share a ceremony, or at least the wreath laying part of the ceremony, with folks so that they get a sense of what's involved. And as my director gets that queued up, one of the things that really, I guess, not surprised me, but it's very moving. First of all, the day is very moving. The involvement of folks of all ages really is touching. And as folks see this piece, they'll hear music underneath. That was added after the fact. It's always very quiet at the grave sites, and there are a few spoken words just to honor that veteran.
There is. So what we ask during the ceremony is when they get the wreath, they know they're going to place it on a veteran's grave. You're going to say their name and you're going to thank them for their service, and just take a moment just to really take in that experience. And you mentioned the volunteers of all ages, and I love seeing everybody there. I think we hit close to 500 volunteers our second year. Last year was a little difficult, as you know, but the kids that get involved, the sports teams that come together as a team, it's just, I think it's great for everyone to see and for them to experience. So it's a win-win for everybody to get the veterans organizations, the American Legions, the VFWs, the DAVs, all of them involved as well. The Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts. It's just a beautiful day, and I think leaving there, everybody feels a little different, and that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely, it's extremely touching at the actual event. Let's talk, before we show this footage from previous years, let's talk about donations of individuals
Sure.
and corporations, because both can sponsor.
Both can sponsor. So this year, we sent out letters probably about September, October, and that's just explaining the mission. Usually I made a list 4 years ago, and I send them regardless of whether or not they participated with us. But we're saying corporate sponsorships have maintained. We have a couple of new companies within Quincy that have donated, some excavation companies that are new for sponsorships, and then we have the companies that have been with us from the beginning. That's and I apologize ahead of time if I forget anybody, but Cohane has been there from the start. John Cohane was the first person I spoke with once we got approval to do this back in 2018, and he made sense. He understood, and it was just the conversation I had with him made me really know and feel that this can be done here in Quincy.
And we should mention that it really is a simple gesture, but it means so much. And the grave sites themselves, as you drive by or as you walk by, with all the wreaths on location, being placed or after they're placed, it's just a beautiful,
It's beautiful.
beautiful picture.
And then when you know the why, right? You know why they did it or why they're there. It makes people, and then they ask the question if they don't know. So that just brings people in again, right? You want more people involved. You want the mission to get out there. It's a beautiful site, and I'm lucky enough to be able to have to drive down, I guess lucky enough to have to drive down C Street, and that's the site that I get to see each morning. And it's a good time to remember, you know. It's a good time to really take a moment and realize what it is these men and women did and sacrificed.
I think it is just that. It's taking the moment. It's taking the time to thank a veteran, deceased veteran. Actually, to also thank veterans that are
there.
That are at the ceremony. My son, I know I've said this in programs past, when he realizes someone has served, he always goes up to that veteran and thanks them.
Absolutely.
So that, I feel great about that. I feel great that he, I want to say, knows the right thing to do.
Yeah, and recognizes what they sacrificed. It's, you know, it's the smallest gestures that mean so much, you know, and thanking a veteran.
Thank you for your service. Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's just it's the right thing to do, and this is a perfect time for folks to realize that they should do it. And with that said, let's actually show that footage so folks will get a sense, if they don't know already, about Wreaths Across America. And footage obviously is Quincy based.
James R. McIntyre. Thank you for your service.
Joseph P. Harrington. Thank you.
Bates.
I do want to mention that once the wreaths have been placed and the ceremony taking place there at Mount Wollaston, the wreaths do remain on the grave sites for some time.
Yes. So we generally leave them out about 10 to 12 weeks. So end of February, early March, we'll pick them up and discard them appropriately. And that too is another huge volunteer opportunity for the kids and for the families to again say thank you. We can't say thank you enough, you know.
So I'm glad you mentioned volunteering again, because we are not only looking for sponsorships, we are looking for volunteers.
Yes, the more the merrier. So Saturday, December 18th, noontime is the ceremony, wreath laying to follow. This year, what we did also is I've recruited, I guess, some helpers that will, I'm calling them cemetery leads. So they're going to be at the other cemeteries kind of coordinating the efforts there as well to make sure that all the wreaths are placed the day of.
And just in the last couple minutes, again, I'd like to go over all the ways to sponsor and contact you if anyone has any questions that haven't been answered on this particular program.
Sure. So first, we could go through the Quincy WAA PO Box. Sorry about that.
There we go.
Thank you.
We can accommodate.
Yes. Quincy WAA, P.O. Box 690432, Quincy, Massachusetts 02269. Questions or if you need a sponsorship form, I can certainly send that to you. through the QuincyWAA@gmail.com, and a phone number, 617-777-9366. And that phone number is on day or night, so anytime.
Very good. As we close, anything that I haven't mentioned that you would like to bring to light?
No, but I would like to say thank you to everyone who has donated this year and in all the years in the past. We couldn't do it without you. We can't do it without you. And I'd like to see this continue. So please, if you can, sponsor a wreath. But thank you very much for everything that you've done so far. So I appreciate it. Our veterans appreciate it, and their families.
Well said. I don't think I can say anything after that. I think we're pretty much that pretty much says it all. Thank you for coordinating this event. And, absolutely. And Quincy Access Television will be there the day of the ceremony and the wreath laying.
No snow.
Well, if it snows, maybe light snow. Nothing
After,
that's going to bury.
At 3 o'clock on the 18th will be fine.
Very good. Again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you at home for watching. You have been watching a program of Quincy Access Television. Please continue to watch QATV for more locally produced programming.